I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like Summerfest, Beaver Creek Institution, and SCORE. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. It's the 15th of August. I think it's the 15th. Yeah. Again, coming out with this late again. Yeah, you know how it goes. Don't need to explain the situation there. It's just busy, you know, and all sorts of crazy shit going on. It's nice and hot. I think we're in the dog days of summer, which is cool because I actually like that. Some people are like, oh, it sucks when it gets this hot for so long and you gotta fucking, you're sweating your face off and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm always sweating my face off. So, welcome to my world, bud. And, you know, but here, you know, you gotta find a way to cool off and stuff. Maybe you live by some water, you go jump in it, or, maybe you just need to splash some water on yourself. Hopefully you got access to some way to cool off. If not, I suggest you, maybe don't spend so much money on internet and spend some more money on being comfortable instead. But anyway, yeah, you know, like I guess things are heating up with the old election coming up. That's what's happening in politics and current news, current events is what they like to call that, I guess. And, you know, I guess I don't have a whole lot to say about that other than I still don't know for sure, like, what's going on with this election, if it's really going to happen or if it's really going to matter. But, you know, hopefully it does. Or hopefully, yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be so weird. But it could be cool, and it probably won't be. I guess that's the best way to put it. So, yeah. In the meantime, you know, like I always say, stay safe and stay dangerous. You know, Black Lives Matter. It's still happening. There's still protests going on and everything like that. Even though it's not in the news so much anymore, it's still important. And of course, you guys in America listening to this, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but fucking wear a mask. You know, okay, here's something though. I heard somebody talking about, you know, one of my favorite sports dudes was talking about how, like, he's not sure, like, enforcing mask wearing is, like, really the way we need to go. And I was like, that seems like dumb because that's the way the rest of the world went, and it worked out pretty well for them. But he was saying, like, you know, like, Americans are very vitamin D deficient or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, I get that. But I guess part of the reason it's extra important for us to do something is because we're not going to tell people what to eat. Or like mandate, you know, vitamins and stuff. Good God. You think of, like, people are worried about fucking, I don't know, Bill Gates or some shit putting microchips in them right now. Think if you were, like, mandating that they fucking take vitamin or something, then they'd definitely be paranoid. All right. But anyway, want to give a shout out to the producers of the podcast. We got Luke Ellis, Heather Royston, Gem City Sabrina, Vaughn Cotton, Sarah Koenig, Chelsea McNally, Cardboard Box Colony, and Carlos Hernandez. Thanks again, guys. And if you want to become a producer of the podcast, you can do so for very little money. And you just get on the patreon.com/intrudergreen and hit me up for, like, whatever you can spare. I love money. Yeah. And maybe if we get more people doing that, I won't be coming out with these fucking episodes so damn late. Anyway. On this episode, we got Bad Breed, another hookup from Melanie K, from Melanie K PR. She's great and helping out a lot with making these episodes happen. They are a eclectic bunch, punk rock band that's made up of, like, not really all punk rock musicians. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and it definitely lends itself to the music. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it before we get into the actual interview. So check it out. Without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Durham Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Come on, girl, now it's time to go to a place where nobody goes. In another time, on the other side of space, it won't be the same. Unlocking girl, nobody
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike and Catherine of Bad Breed on the Intruder Green podcast. All right, guys. How are things in a beautiful... You guys are from Toronto, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We are from Toronto, and how are things? They are hot right now.
Yeah, they're hot here,
We're
too.
in the middle of a heat wave, man.
That's right. I
Yeah.
believe it to be true, but that's good timing. I mean, it usually happens, I think. I don't know if it happens for you guys, actually. I've been in Toronto in the summertime, and it was real hot. And this is how, I love to start out podcasts. People find it real interesting when the conversation is about the weather. In case you didn't know.
Yeah.
That's what everybody always wants to hear about.
It's universal.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Yeah, who would
That's right.
possibly turn the fucking channel at this point? Like,
Nobody. It's
who would want to
super.
miss a golden opportunity to hear how hot I am?
Hey, it's fucking relatable, And I actually do. I actually do think that to be a little bit true. Like if you ever spent time in the Midwest, and Toronto's kind of like the Midwest except more north. You actually care about what the weather's gonna be like because you get those fucking hot ass days, and then it gets super fucking cold out, and you're like, don't even go outside because you might freeze your ass off to death. And it actually matters. Not like when you're in New York and it's like, well, it's kind of shitty all the time here. But you just going from like your house to a fucking club or something, and nobody cares. They don't spend time outside in the big cities. You guys are in a big city though, so it's like, I don't know. But Toronto's like a cool city.
A relatively big city, yeah. Like I remember the first time I went to New York City, and I felt like I was I felt like I was a hick. You know what I mean? It's like I put my bags down and I stared up at all the buildings, and I was like, what is this? I thought I was like from a big city, but not comparable.
Yeah, but I mean, Toronto's a pretty fucking cool city. I think I say this every time I get somebody on from there, which I've had a lot of people on lately because we got Melanie K in the house hooking it up. And that's real
cool. All right, Melanie K.
Yeah, that's right. Got to give a shout out. She's making a lot of like episodes possible. She's kind of like a punk rock ambassador for the fucking Canada. I mean, I guess anybody.
She really is, man.
Yeah. She hooks it up,
She's deep into it. Yep, she definitely does. She's a pleasure to work with as well.
Yeah, I agree. On my side of things as well. She's always interested in like how people are actually doing. She's not just like working the business side of things, but she's just I think that's why she got into that line of work anyway. She's just like a social butterfly, as it were. Yeah. And she's like, what can I do with this like automatic skill I have and like make money with it? And that's what you do. You just fucking like become that person. Her
personality and her, like you said, her actual interest in other people and in music they're doing, etc., is her currency, and she trades in that, and she does very well at it. And that she was to speak to her on the phone when we first started working together. It was like, I actually felt like, oh, you did listen to our music. Oh, you are interested. Like I immediately felt like a human connection and not just let's talk about numbers right off the top of the bat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. And well, I guess to transition then, I've also listened to your record. The new is it the new one that I heard? Because I know you just announced the new one, but okay.
Did you listen to the Ferocious Love album?
Yes. I got it right here. I was listening to it recently.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
It's real good.
One's the one that goes all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of all over the place, and I fucking love it. It's like fucking I don't know exactly how to describe it. It definitely has like a bit of like looseness to it. That I think a lot of punk rock lately is kind of missing. It's like it seems like at a certain time everybody was like, oh, skate punk is like the only thing that matters, and everything has got to be like super locked in, and fucking the guitar's got to be like direct line recorded only, and no like it sounds like you guys are recording out of amplifiers, and there's some like acoustics going on, and some wildness in there that a lot of other stuff is missing.
Yeah, I mean, well, yes. I mean, well, to start off, like I played the drums on that record, so right off the bat, we did not play to a click track. I'm not
Nice.
comfortable doing that.
Yeah, not
So
many people
but
are.
but we just rehearsed a lot, man.
Yeah,
So yeah,
live off the floor.
Yeah.
Like initially, it was live off the floor recording. So we went on our own tempos. We weren't we weren't following a track. So
Live off the floor. So
it was fun.
yeah. So are you like not even doing overdubs and shit? You just fucking do it live? Like fucking
No.
what's his name from Fox News?
Hold on.
That was gonna be a really
Hold
good
on.
joke
No,
until I forgot his name.
So basically, the idea, like I think a lot of people go with, is the full band recorded with Catherine. So there are 4 vocalists in this band, right?
Yeah.
But for the purpose of recording, Catherine did everything. When we rehearsed the record up to the day that the days we recorded, Catherine did everybody's vocals. So she was in the booth doing that as a ghost track. And
Sure.
we just wanted to make sure we had a good, solid drum track. And then hopefully if the bass and guitar were good, then that's a great start. But yeah, so we just wanted I wanted live drums, So
for
that's
sure.
the way we did that. And then, yeah, of course there are some overdubs. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. You want to make it sound like real good and like produced, but not too produced,
Yep.
Like, yeah. And I love that. I think that gets to the core of like what punk rock should be. And there's a time and place for it. Like, not everybody wants to do it that way, and I get that, but I appreciate that you guys take that kind of angle with it, because it sounds fucking cool. And
Thanks, man.
Yeah. But that's real cool. Like, so you got multiple singers on this. And what I read though was Mike, you're kind of like, are you kind of the main lyricist? I don't know. That's a weird term for me. Like, you write a lot of lyrics or what?
It's a weird term. Yeah, but so I do that. I brought the lyrics basically, and the way that we did this album was there was at the beginning of it, there was no band. I had like not been doing music for a couple of years, and I needed some connection with people, right? So the first person I reached out to was Catherine. I had the idea for one song, and all I had was lyrics. And we sat down, and Catherine pulled out a keyboard that she hadn't played for
like over a decade.
And we sat down and wrote one song.
All right.
And from that, I just started. What's that?
I said, all right, that sounds good so far.
Yeah, so far so good. And then, anyways, basically, it snowballed from there. I had a lot of lyrics, right? I hadn't been doing stuff for a while, but I'd written a lot of lyrics, and then I was able. The guitar player on the album, his name is Oscar Tang, and he's just a great guitar player. He's a blues guy. Like that's how he makes his living. He and his partner have a band in Toronto called Blues and Troubles, and they just play clubs, man. They just play multiple sets, 40s, 50s blues music. And so he came in and played guitar. So you don't get that when you listen to this record, you're not getting kind of like the chugging riffs or the, like the power chord stuff, because he's just from a whole different school of playing, I mean, he could probably do all that stuff, but he doesn't choose to, So anyways, it was just a reaching out thing. But yes, so to answer your question, I wrote the lyrics.
All right. But as far as the music goes, it sounds like pretty collaborative. You got the guy, the blues guy, playing punk rock, basically, and that definitely lends itself to like having a different kind of sound. And that could be risky too, but I think it's turned out pretty fucking good. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But
man. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, please. If you got something to add, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I got something to add. Yeah. No, I just wanted to say, it's cool because when you say the blues guy playing punk rock, we had the blues guy doing that. We had a jazz guy playing vibes and playing keyboards, and he plays drums for us live. And I'm talking about a guy who's, I don't know how into jazz you are, but like our drummer Mark, and he's a vibes player.
Yeah.
He studied with Cecil Taylor, who's just a brilliant, or was a brilliant jazz pianist, and so he comes from that world. And this guy's been around for a long time in the jazz world. He's never played in a rock band, but we got him to come out and play with us. So we've got that. Then we've got our bass player Mei Lin, was born and raised in Havana, Cuba.
Oh, wow.
She came here, and the only music she'd ever played was Latin music. You know what I'm saying? So suddenly she's in with us. So it truly is. And then Catherine's background. Well, Catherine, talk about your background.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I grew up with like a pretty eclectic, school of music, which is from my family and my influences and stuff. But
Yeah.
my training was actually in musical theater, which is funny because once I finished that training, I kind of just put it right behind me.
Sure.
Because I always knew that like my soul was soul music and singing like sort of soul music and funk and even R&B, and I love rock music. So and then putting keys in my hand and putting a synth. I play a Korg on the record and in our band, and giving me like all those different options for sound really helped influence my like input into the music as well.
So suffice to say, I guess that I needed to add that in because it's like it's not like because a lot of rock bands or punk rock bands are guys or girls who are all like everybody can reference the Ramones, like we're going to do it at this tempo, and Dee Dee would do this, or we can reference the Misfits or whoever it is, and that vocabulary, although some of us like some of those things. It was just a completely different conversation working with all these people, literally just from different worlds, different countries, different experiences. So it's very different.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fucking awesome. And I appreciate that you do have that going on because, punk rock can get pretty, I like to use the word homogenized, not knowing completely what that word means, but it sounds about right. And I appreciate that you guys are kind of like, I don't know, not necessarily that you're anti that, but you're like the anti that, like you're the antithesis of that, right? Like you got all this, not only different cultures, but different styles of music going into this kind of punk rock thing. I mean, I think it's basically like a punk rock thing. I mean, yeah, that's right. That's how I feel about it.
First of all, I would argue that you do know what homogenized means because you used it perfectly
it's like
in
milk.
that context. The prefix homo just means same. So there you go. You mean that the shit sounds the same a lot of the time.
That's right.
In punk rock.
That's right.
Or it can, right? Like, so,
well, yeah.
I think for me, I grew up playing in punk rock bands, basically. You know what I mean? And I think pretty sure I'm the one person, I think just me in this band, like, has the actual experience of, like, that was what my roots were, right?
Oh,
but
sure.
I was always drawn to the ones, I loved, like, the Misfits. You know what I mean? Like, I loved Negative Approach. Like there were certain bands I liked. I loved the ones that had like a sense of danger, or that you didn't exactly know what was going to happen at the show. And again, like I think I was just a little bit before the kind of like pop punk stuff or power pop. Like, whatever that kind of So I was always attracted to that. I was really attracted to like the Stooges. And,
that dirty
like proto punk stuff.
Yeah. Well,
so there's I guess there's a part of that in there because I played in bands that were heavily influenced by that kind of stuff when I was younger,
Absolutely. And that definitely comes out in it. Since you say that, it makes a lot of sense. So that's fucking cool too. And keeping it all super eclectic. Anyway, but how did this band, like, you did the album, how the hell did you all meet from all these different parts of the world? And like, what the term bad breed, does that have anything to do with like the demographic of the band or anything like that?
Well, that's interesting. I never thought of the breed part of it. I started the band in 2014, and it was like 4 dudes. You know what I mean? It was myself. The only person who's still left from that was the guitar player, Oscar. It was 4 guys, man, and we were trying. In the first record, we put out a record called "The Violent World of Bad Breed" in 2015, and that was like much closer to like punk rock or like hard rock. You know what I mean? But again, that's what we were talking about. Those 4 guys who could sit and all of us were just like, well, yeah, of course, this part's going to sound like whatever. You throw out a name, the Stooges, whatever it is, right? So it was, so that was much closer to a singular type sound. And then I took a few years off, and I walked away from music for a few years. But And so, like I said, when I kind of came back and I really felt like, okay, I need to do this. I've got these lyrics. I need to be around people and be in that, making music thing. I mean, I could talk so, I mean, Catherine, how did I meet you?
Yeah, for sure. So I was introduced to Mike through Marco, who was the drummer in Bad Breed in the previous version of the band. And basically, I met him. I was brought into like a rehearsal or two, and then I was asked to be part of the final recording of the EP, which is Bad Breed Plays Execution Music.
Yes.
That we released this year.
Nice.
So they just threw me in and they were like, we want to juice up some of these songs and let's see what it does to add another female vocalist, because there were two other women that sang on the album.
Yeah. And so
that was my... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. You got a question there?
Oh, I wanted to let you finish because my question can wait.
Okay. All right. So that was fucking cool for me because I was able to, I gotta say, like, I was singing in a way I'd never sung before on that album. It was pushing my voice to its like next level, like really rocking out and kind of digging deep, not just like technically but emotionally too. Yeah. That album it's a heavy album and there's a lot to take from and put out there. So anyway, so there was that, and I met Oscar, the guitar player at the time. I met Mark as well because they had relationships with the band already. Yeah. So that was fucking cool. Like that was a kind of a dream. I'd heard all about these guys through my friend Marco, who introduced.
Did you know that Intruder Green? Did you know that I'm a dream?
Did you ever dream? I had no idea, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know either until just now. Yeah.
No, that's it. Well, I heard lots of great, cool shit about Mike. So that was it. It was just that Marco really wanted to introduce me to Mike because I think he thought this would be a cool opportunity for me to like open up my my wings.
Yeah. So basically, and then Maylin, like I said, she's from Cuba. She moved here back in 2003. She played in a very short-lived band where we tried to combine punk rock and Latin music. But I hadn't talked to her for like a decade. And I'm just thinking, when I started reaching out to people, I just thought of who are all my favorite people that I've worked with in the past, and let's put this cool thing together. And then it's like, my own little, version of a super group type thing, from, all these guys and girls.
Yeah, that's fucking great. I mean, that's a great way to put it, is like a super group of just not, like they don't have to be like fucking big rock stars or nothing. You just like, these are the people I want to work with. Let's fucking make it happen. And if they're available and they do it, then you got to be happy about that. So
I am.
So you got on full 3 female singers, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we've got, so Catherine does a lot of the vocal stuff. Maylin, the bass player, who is a trained opera singer, for God's sake. She does some of the, she does, and so we try, the idea is that we don't have a lead vocalist, right? So each song has, I sing on all of them, but people share, like we basically share a lot of the stuff. Yeah. Catherine, and then a friend, Bria. We even have like the latest addition to the band. My best friend who I started, my first punk rock band with in high school, he's now a high school English teacher. And this woman, Bria, is one of his old students, for God's sake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's this whole multi-generational thing. So yeah, we've got, and everybody's got different, like everybody has a different voice. Everybody's voice sounds different. So it's cool, man. It's exciting. So and again, it's very different from, like my experience, like when I first started to be a vocalist, I started out but as a drummer. Yeah. I did a kind of really hard, kind of like violent punk rock band in like, when I, years ago. And that was like one of those, again, like, the type of stuff that you model on the Stooges where you're like, it's almost like you want to fight the audience or you want to, or something. I don't know. Listen, I don't know, but some craziness. So I and I never thought about singing, man. I was just yelling at everything. You know what I'm saying?
Lighting everything on fire.
Lighting things on fire,
Oh,
yelling
tight.
at, yelling at the world,
Literally.
So, but then to get together with this group of people, and it's like, oh, well, maybe I can do some singing. You know what I mean? So it's cool.
Yeah, I think that's up everybody's game is that we've got 4 singers here trying to, really put our voices together. But they are unique, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like Bria sounds like she's always on helium. You know what I mean? Like
she got a pretty high voice.
Super high voice. Yeah.
Got a really beautiful soprano voice.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's got a great ear, and so we honestly we all do have really great ears, so that helps to when we come together and we want to do those, like those backup vocals in all these tracks. So much fun to do all those harmonies and stuff.
And I got to be honest, man, at a certain point in time, and I have, I'm not ashamed to say in my adult life, I didn't know what the difference between the melody and the harmony was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because I was just yelling, so anyway, I guess,
Yeah, that's hard to
now I'm
harmonize
yelling
with.
at you to make sure you hear me, but that's it.
Yeah, well, you gotta, if you're yelling, that could still be considered like a melody, right? But it's real hard to harmonize with that.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I believe it to be true. That's good.
I do too.
I love it. Yeah, all right. So yeah, as far as like, you got this big ass band then, and now you guys, is it more like a project band, or you guys do playing out? Well, nobody's playing out live these days, but yeah. But is that like something to do for you guys in the future, or is it more like a project thing?
Yeah.
Where you just want to make the tunes?
No, it started as a project, but now there's a core of us, who I think really want to push it forward, and obviously this is the shittiest time in, modern history to push a band forward.
Yeah.
Especially in Canada. I know things are different in the States. I don't know if you guys are having shows yet or what the deal is.
No.
But,
I don't think you've been paying attention, but it's way worse in the States.
Oh, I know it's worse, but I know it's worse, but I also know you're opening stuff up as things get worse, and this is not a condemnation of you, but as
Right.
as an objective, as a person on the outside living in your attic and
Right.
looking downstairs, I don't know what the fuck is going on there, man. You know, so, and again, nothing personal. It just seems
Oh no,
from our perspective. From
Yeah.
our perspective, I think, and I'm speaking for it is at the very least strange to see the way things are opening just differently and quickly in the
Yeah.
States. And so, for all I know, maybe you guys do have shows in clubs. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm actually not in the States personally. The rest of the band is. And I was just saying, like, I hope they fucking figure it out, because it would be cool to actually go see them again, regardless of going on tour. Like, you know, like every other band, we got a whole fucking year canceled, basically. And fuck, at this point, I don't even know if next year is going to happen. You know, people are hitting us up like, hey, are we going to do this tour? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. But so I'm actually in Germany. People who listen to this podcast kind of know about that. Otherwise, it's kind of a secret.
Okay, you're in Germany, right on, man.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of things over here. Like, they're opening things up, but it's like since they did such a good job of you know, they took care of business early on, and you didn't have a bunch of assholes.
Lockdown was strict there, right? Like your lockdown in Germany was strict. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it was pretty strict, and they didn't, like, you know, in America, I think they left it up to like each county, and then some of the counties left it up to each city, and it was just all over the place. And then you still got people going from these places with loose rules into other places where they got higher rules, and it's back and forth, and there's just too many people mixing it up, and of course it didn't fucking, you know, they didn't get it under control. So now, you know, like, I worry about my buds over there, because, you know, like they, you know, it's obviously we're young, and we could probably beat it if we get sick or something, but, you know, not everybody we talk to or deal with can. And so, you know, and also it's just a shitty thing to go through. Like, I don't know if people realize it, but like, once you get it, you're probably going to have like problems breathing for the rest of your life, maybe. So, depending, you know, how bad it hits you. But like, so anyway.
But that's that whole thing though, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's that whole thing of, like, the best thing that you could possibly say about any of this shit is I don't know, right? Because every day they're just figuring out something new about, like, what are the effects on the
That's
lungs?
right.
What are
That's
the effects
right.
on the brain? What are the
Blood,
effects on,
like,
yeah,
in your
blood, you know, et cetera. So, yeah, and like you said, like, yeah, if you got it or if Catherine got it, like, you know, you guys would probably be okay. But it's like, my worry is like, okay, if I get it and I talk to my daughter has a compromised immune system.
There you go.
What's going to happen to her? Like,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I got to keep, you know, and I drive Uber for, you know, like to make some money.
Oh,
and
man.
you know, the policy is you're supposed to wear a mask. But, like, you know, I know it's not the same as the States, but there's a lot of people here who are just like, you know, why would I do that? Like, you know, et cetera. And, man, like, again,
Selfish
I don't know.
people is what
Is
you're
it
saying.
protecting us? I hope so, you know, but sometimes it's, you know, it feels like a drag. It seems like a simple thing to do,
Right.
you know, just to, you know.
Hey,
Be
you don't
cool,
got to
man.
talk to me about wearing masks. I'm pretty good at it, and I think everybody should give it a shot.
Yeah, you are excellent at this. You
Right?
are already. You
I
are
would fucking-
way ahead of the curve, man.
My whole crew's been training for this moment.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad, man. I hope you win this. I hope if this is a competition, you're going to win it.
Well, none of us win unless we all win at this point. So, yeah,
You're right. You and I agree on that.
all about that community. All right.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, as far as like clubs opening, I don't think that's really happening in the States because they keep actually
I hope not, yeah.
right. Well, no, I don't. I hope not too. But like, what happens is like they finally opened bars in some places before they were ready, and then the shit got worse, so they had to close the bars back down again. And it's like, cool,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
guys. Now you're gonna be shut down for another like 3 months or something. But what I do know they've been trying to do is some places are doing these like even booking shows at like drive-in theaters. I don't know how much they have of those in Canada, but that's an interesting concept. It kind of sounds a little like it might be a little bit lame because I don't know how many people want to like sit in their car to watch a fucking punk rock show. But if that's what you gotta do, you know,
they've announced one here. Yeah, there's definitely one that they keep talking about. I mean, I gave that a miss. You know what I mean? I'm not. I don't want to sit in my fucking car and watch a show. But you know, if it was I don't know. If it was the world's greatest show, maybe I'd drive up to it. But
if they resurrected the Ramones,
lame, man,
you know? The thing is, it's like, would I rather see that or just another fucking live stream of some bands playing a show online? I mean, I feel like those can be pretty cool. I'm actually getting ready to do, after I get done talking to you guys, we got this Officer Bradford 10K run that's happening today. And it's like a live stream of Officer Bradford. I honestly don't know too much about it, except he's raising money for Planned Parenthood and Black Lives Matter, which are also important things.
Awesome.
Yeah. You know, he's doing it, as far as I could tell, he's doing it like it's a fucking, like, you know, when people run marathons, they get sponsors and stuff to raise money for something.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So he did a bunch of that.
Cool, man.
Yeah, and he'll be doing that. I don't even know where to go to find it. And this podcast will actually come out way after this, so it doesn't really make sense to keep talking about it. But I just wanted to let you guys know about it.
By the time this comes out, it'll be nostalgia for the listener.
That's right. That's right.
Thinking back to those days when Officer Bradford was running around. But yeah, that's really
what
cool.
Are you saying?
That's really cool.
What are you saying is going to happen to Officer Bradford?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's happening today. In a week from now, this is nostalgia.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, that's
it
right.
It might even be comedy if there's any tragedy with Officer Bradford.
Hey, then we know who to talk to. Thanks for listening to the Intruder Green podcast. By now you probably heard about our sponsor, Stupid Rad Merch Company. And if you haven't, then listen up, because I gotta tell you, Stupid Rad Merch Company is a great web store with a bunch of your favorite bands at stupidradmerch.com. And if you're in a band and need some work done, they can get you totally covered for a modest price and super quick turnaround time. But don't just take it from me. Here's what the ladies from Bad Cop had to say about it.
Comes up with great ideas. It's always pushing, always moving. Simeon is delightful to work with. He's very responsive and professional, and
it's the quality of the shirts. I like them.
Yeah, high quality.
Very well done. Very well done on the ink.
It really feels like a family again. It feels like it's a place where you can trust what's happening.
And don't forget to use the code PRISON at checkout and get a 15% discount on all Stupid Rad branded apparel. That's PRISON, I think. I don't really know how to spell, but those are the letters they told me to say. StupidRadMerch.com.
StupidRadMerch.com.
Guitar players, I bet you thought you were shit out of luck when it comes to finding your dream guitar or amp. You know, you go on some auction site or something and it's all crap. Yeah, well that's because, you know, you gotta look in the right place. And the right place is Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. They got exactly what you're looking for. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't they located in like Switzerland or something? Yeah man, they are. Bern, Switzerland to be exact. But you know, you can get on the internet and you can go check out their website, yeahmansguitars.com, and you can order stuff on there. So, you know, it don't really matter where the heck you are in the world. You can just get on their website and find all sorts of cool stuff that you're looking for. And you might not even know that you wanted it until you see it on there, and there's a lot of good stuff. If you got something specific you're looking for and need some help finding it, just hit up Yeah Man Guitars on the electronic mail. That's the email. It's like 21st century and you got email and websites. It's like amazing. Some people will call it magic. Some people will call it science. I just call it, I don't know, crazy shit. YeahMansGuitars@gmail.com. As far as email goes, it's where you email them. And while you're at it, get your band a tour in Europe and stop by the shop. Michael and the rest of the crew would love to meet you, I'm sure. And you could tell them Green sent you. Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars.
I got my fingers crossed for him, though.
Yeah, but that's part of the thing too. Is we like to put a timestamp on these things. Before, when I was doing this podcast, it was just like, you know, fucking hit people up, hang out, have a conversation, talk about the band and what you guys are doing and stuff. But also, like, now that shit's gone so crazy, I realize that I'm like releasing episodes from right when the pandemic started. Because I'm like a month or two behind, and it's like, holy shit, wait, we didn't even have any idea that like Minneapolis was going to explode, and then this whole like Black Lives Matter movement was going to take hold, and all these riots, and now fucking Trump is becoming like a full-on dictator, fucking oppressing people. And like, I don't know if you heard the recent news, but apparently he's got like fucking squads going around in unmarked cars fucking kidnapping people. So that's real fucked up.
Yes.
And that's what's happening
so that
right now.
You're referring to in Seattle, like, or in Portland.
Was it? No, I think it was. Maybe it was Portland. I don't remember the city, but I think maybe Baltimore. But I know, but
so
it'll probably be other places, right?
Soon. It's like the cars are unmarked. The officers or whoever they are don't have badges that with
there's no accountability
numbers on them. There's no accountability, no identification. It's terrifying. It's the exact same thing that the United States criticizes so many other places for doing when they bring up their human rights record, etc.
It's like terrorism, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure it feels like terrorism if you're just standing there on the corner and somebody just yanks you into a bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, as a alleged criminal, I will say that is way more terrifying than anything I've ever been through. Like, just
as an alleged criminal, good, because that would be scary, man. Like that's. But once again, I mean, this is what I'm saying. I've never lived in the States, but I find it mind-boggling to just watch and absorb what's happening there. Even right down to even before this, right? Like when you talk about dictatorial behavior, just even the caging of migrant children. There's a huge list of things.
Yeah.
Even before this pandemic that are just, the gravity of it is so, it's like crushing, emotionally.
Well, and the funny thing is, I mean, it's not funny at all, but it's interesting to think about like when they're fucking, detaining people at the border and, putting kids in cages and stuff. And it's like, people always say, it's like, well, if they can do it to them, they could do it to you. And people always want to be like, nah, I'm a white American. They're not going to do it to me. And it's like, well, look at what they're fucking doing now. They're fucking they're fucking kidnapping people. Like literally, there's no other way to describe it, right? Like, who
Yeah.
are these people?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And it's like, yes. And of course, like the white middle class or, white educated class will be you're going to assume you would be the last to, to be affected by that. But, yeah, like, is that what it's going to take, for people, of some sort of privilege to see their kids get kidnapped to actually affect some sort of like meaningful change? Or is it possible at this point? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I hope so. Like, because I hope that when that happens, it will affect change. Because otherwise, what's the end game? I always kind of wonder if like Trump and all his guys actually have an end game, or if they're just like figuring it out as they go. It kind of seems like they're figuring it out as they go, but they got like some kind of idea of the direction they're headed in, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like if there's still any kind of like semblance of democracy or whatever by the next election, that they have any chance of surviving it. But then again, like they have to have some idea of like what they're gonna do.
I don't know if you remember election night 2016. Like I remember sitting watching the CNN or whatever it was just to see the election coverage. I mean, nobody thought, at least on that station, that he was winning that. And to watch the people's faces drop as the numbers came in, they went from like, victory lap to, funeral march in, 30 minutes. So I would, and again, he's not running against, the world's most exciting candidate,
right?
Or the world's most, inspiring candidate.
Yeah.
He's actually running against a guy who has a lot of, similar. I mean, sorry, I don't know if you want to turn this into my political philosophy discussion.
No,
but
it's all,
Joe Biden is an awful, horrible, uninspiring, and dangerous candidate to run against Donald Trump. So, again, I don't live in that country, so I mean, what I think doesn't necessarily matter that much. But if the Democrats can win with him, I don't know, man. Good luck to them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the funny thing people are talking about. It's like, do we want to win with Biden or just lose with Trump? And like, because if you win with Biden, it's like you basically got things the way they are, and you're gonna have like this slightly burnt down, dilapidated structure that you're gonna start to kind of try to restore. Or do you just go for another term with Trump, burn it all to the fucking ground, and then like figure out how to start over? I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at, right? I don't know which one is better, honestly.
I mean, well, hopefully people who dislike Trump aren't going to vote for him in hopes of burning everything down. I hear what you're saying, like the idea that there needs to be a fundamental change from the absolute root. But that's hard. That the United States as a project, is hundreds of years old, and right now it seems like the function of government to trade between the two, major parties is the essential function seems to be just to continue the project moving forward, right? And that just and now you just have an incredibly dangerous and unpalatable person steering the ship, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So I don't know, man. That's all to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think that's all
crossed.
anybody could say at this point. It's going to be a real interesting rest of the year. And, I just hope everybody stays safe. I know you guys are relatively safe in Canada. And I got to say, I love coming to Canada. It's like every time, I said this before, every time we cross the border, once we get through Border Patrol and everything, it suddenly will feel like, oh, I feel like lighter or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the legalized
thing
marijuana in the air or what. I just feel like, I'm a little bit like less cautious now. It's nice.
I have to say, man, because I did a lot of cross-border traveling in the last couple of years. I was working in pro wrestling.
Oh,
and, cool. So I'd travel with a group of guys. And
like WWE or like some other stuff?
Yeah, but obviously like a smaller version of that. But yeah, that kind of deal. And we would go to West Virginia, New York, Philadelphia, et cetera, et cetera. And I felt the opposite. Once we got through border security, I suddenly felt a heaviness. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like I was just like, okay, we're definitely in a different place. And that is not to say that there's like so many amazing things and amazing people, etc. But there's a different feeling. Like
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, as a person not from states, something feels different there. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, but I think you were saying that it was coming to Canada.
Yeah, and I'm saying when I go to the U.S., I feel heavy, and he
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
light coming to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying is I've actually thought that exact thought before. Like when I get into the States, I'm like, okay, all right, don't don't piss on a tree because I don't want to get arrested. You know what I mean? I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like it's a weird feeling because it's like obviously white people in America don't have to worry about it nearly as much as any kind of minorities. But you still have this idea of like, man, I really don't want to fucking get pulled over because who knows how that'll go.
I also feel like I'm not going to, if somebody cuts me off, because I would be doing all the driving, I'm not going to roll my window down and tell them to go fuck themselves because I don't know if they have a pistol on their passenger seat. You know what I mean?
I mean, they probably do.
I'm not saying that I go around telling, I'm not saying that I go drive around telling people to go fuck themselves, but I would think twice.
Yeah, that's right. Which some people probably think is a good thing. They don't want you fucking feeling free to do that. Although that's kind of like suppression of people's like rights to free speech and stuff. So it's like, what do you stand on this? It's like all over the place. I don't know. It's like I got a gun, so I have the right to oppress your rights. Oh shit. Well, I can't argue with that. Because you got a gun. I can't argue with you at all. Shit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We don't, again, I mean, there's not whatever. It's just different. It's a different place, right? It's a different place. And it's funny. You think about the way, I mean, and so you grew up in the States, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So then, I mean, the way you were conditioned as a person growing up in the United States with your education and like even just the emphasis on your Constitution and the independence and all of those things and the free speech, that's missing from our condition. We are certainly conditioned a certain way,
right?
But it's just a different thing, right? So, I don't walk around thinking, and you probably don't either, but I don't walk around thinking about our Constitution,
Sure.
Or I wouldn't say it out loud, or I wouldn't say you're taking my freedom. It's just different because I didn't grow up that way. So again, it's just as an outsider, you look at it, and it's just to me, it's a different world. Is it for you?
Catherine? Like you don't really feel like anything was drilled into you for sure. Growing up in Canada, it just feels, I don't know. For me, I mean, I had a great childhood and upbringing, but just feels you feel a little lighter up here.
Yeah.
And I grew up in British Columbia on the other side of the country. And
but that's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place where I grew up, and it was lots of fresh air, mountain air, lakes, So I don't know, I got a bit of a chill vibe.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. And we've waxed on politics a little bit here, and I think that's good and healthy for like any kind of punk rock podcast. But maybe we should move on a little bit and not like get too preachy here. I don't know. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up as far as the new album and the band is concerned? Because otherwise, I got one more question for you.
Okay, well, do you mind if I'll just throw in, Catherine, you can add to this. So our album came out. The title is The Bad Breed in Ferocious Love. It came out on all the streaming stuff, etc. on Friday the 17th of July. So we're really happy with that.
Oh, yeah.
That day we've got one video out right now for the first track on the album called War With Myself. So you can check that out on YouTube. We're really happy with that. We just filmed our second video on Friday. So we're not sure when that's going to come out, but that's for a song called Make Me Prove It. And this is the one thing I do want to just mention. So we are doing a very, very limited vinyl run for this record. We're doing 100 copies, and we are not selling it. So just to be clear, we are giving it away to anybody who gives a charitable donation of $25 or more to the charity of your choice. Like we just spent 15 minutes talking about. This is a wild time in history, right? Rebellion, pandemic, pick your, there are places that are just, just on their knees begging for money, right? Yeah. So rather than sell, all you have to do is send us like a screenshot of the receipt. You send your money to your local food bank, Black Lives Matter, whatever it happens to be, and I will ship you a copy of our record on vinyl anywhere in the world at no cost to you.
Wow, that's fucking awesome, dude. I really appreciate that whole idea. I think, Yeah, a lot of bands could fucking try something like that. That's really cool.
Well, anyway, so that's what I wanted to add. Catherine, anything on your
I
end?
think that's great.
No, she doesn't want to add anything. All right, yeah. What's your last question?
Crime stories. Do you got any? And this goes for both of you, or one of you, or whatever. I don't know if you're familiar with the podcast, but this is like a thing we do now. I gotta ask about a crime story. You could just make one up, or it could be about you or a friend, or it could be like, you know, maybe you got away with it. Maybe you got caught, and it's a funny story about how you went to jail or prison. Maybe,
yeah. All right. Well, I have a couple. However,
They're probably more.
Well, like I always say, so far I've yet to incriminate anyone, but I'm ready to.
My life in crime was definitely, it's a little limited and in my past now. So no, I'm just joking around. I don't have any heavy duty crime stories. I have been robbed.
Oh shit!
Have you?
So that's a crime.
Yeah.
On me. Yeah, I was robbed in England when I was in my early 20s, and it was pretty like unsettling. I was like on the last 2 days or 3 days of my trip, and I had like, you know, I got my like, it was just my, fortunately it was just my purse, but unfortunately in my purse was all the things that were most important to me. But it was that classic story of the 20-year-old drinking amazing English ale at a table with a bunch of cool new people and leaving your purse in the back of your chair. Classic. And I was like a real job by this couple that like sat there. It was like a full long game. They sat there and they watched, and they, like, it was all on camera. So I got to relive the whole night by rewatching the footage, actually.
Wow.
That was,
did you get it back? Did you get the purse back?
I did not get the purse back. But
so are you saying they had? Are you saying they had like a con game going where they were like, we're gonna hang out with you, and eventually they just like kind of fucking through sleight of hand got your purse?
I want to say that exactly, but it was sort of like that. They were behind me sitting at their own table, and they were just calculating and watching me and my group of people that I was with. So they were just waiting for that one time I left my purse when I went to the washroom. And all the other times I took it with me. So that was a heartbreaker. But that's it. That's my life in crime.
But what are they?
Crime.
Did they like? So what? But how did they get it? Did they? Because your friends were sitting there, right? So did they just like grab it and run?
The friends. The way they got to me was we drank a lot.
Oh yeah. You know,
we were all pretty hyped up, and we were actually at a high top table, and they were at a lower table. So it's kind of like, it was kind of smooth for them, because I don't think everybody was kind of paying attention.
Yeah, they were out of
tables.
eyesight or whatever.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of energy going around, so I think people were distracted. So yeah, they grabbed it, swiped it, and the crazy part was like they grabbed everything inside of it, and then
there's your purse.
Grabbed everything inside of it, and then took off. So the purse was, I want to say, no, just my umbrella was lying on the floor.
Oh.
My umbrella was the trail. I was like, hell, yeah, exactly. Anyway,
see,
that's my crime.
I probably would have just taken the umbrella, because like a purse, usually you're just gonna find a bunch of credit cards in there, and you know, like as far as what somebody who's robbing would want, because like yeah, it's gonna be full of a bunch of fucking like personal things, maybe some like, you know, fucking toiletries and stuff. And, you know, a bunch of credit cards that you probably don't have the fucking PIN numbers for. And it's like, why not get that fucking umbrella instead? And then, you know, you fucking...
Why not?
Yeah, you could either sell it or stay dry or do whatever. But it's going to be way less complicated than trying to steal a whole purse. And, you know, ultimately, the person you stole from won't hate you as much. And that's also nice.
That's right. If they were nice, they would have known that.
That's right.
You got it.
What's their
So fuck
problem,
'em.
man? What is their problem?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
That's like the
Do you
Canadian.
want to hear mine?
That's like the Canadian way of saying fuck them, right?
Yeah.
What's
fuck
the?
'em.
It's like, what's your problem, bud? Or just say fuck them.
Dude, I actually said that the other day. I was standing at the fucking liquor store, and they have the marks on the ground, like the 6 feet marks when you're in line.
Oh yeah.
And this dude was like, and also now there's a mandate in the city of Toronto. You've got to wear a mask when you're indoors in public spaces.
Yeah, we
so
still got that
some dude
here.
with his mask around his ear was standing basically with his chin on my shoulder. You know what I mean?
Oh god.
And I did turn around and go like, I did use that phrase. I was like, "You're not using the markings, bud."
Yeah.
And then he looked down at the ground and went, "Sorry," and
Oh.
shuffled away. So,
See-
anyways,
that's
that's
the difference,
I did say
though.
bud this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, just out for a rip by your bud. I heard that one.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the difference in Canada. You say like, oh, like, hey, what's your problem, bud? Or like, hey, watch out, bud. Yeah. You trying to like, you trying to like keep people at bay but still be friendly. That doesn't work in America.
Yeah.
Then they just think you're a weirdo. But you gotta like say like, hey, fuck you. You know, it's like you gotta be confrontational from the get go, and it's like that works because they're like, oh shit, I think he's got a gun, but so do I. So suddenly it's a shootout. Anyway.
Right.
I would love to hear
I
any.
keep fuck you as my trump card. You know what I'm saying? Or ace.
Yeah, right. We got to change that term now, I guess. Fuck. Or maybe you know, this time next year we'll be talking about how using the Trump card as a term is like the perfect thing because it's like, oh yeah, that means you own the world, right? Just like Donald Trump does now, because he took over America.
He's got a big stake in it,
and now he controls the world. Anyway, hopefully that's not the way it goes. What's another crime story you guys got? I would love to hear it.
All right. I'm going to tell you this one. I was in Jamaica a few years ago.
Tight.
I was walking past my hotel. Somebody asked me if I was interested in something, you know, to smoke, etc. And I said, okay. And so I had to go back to my room to get my wallet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I come back, guy like hustling me over the car, right? So I hop in and we're driving down the street. And I looked over at him, and I just hadn't really paid attention, but I did notice that the guy that I originally spoke to had a gold tooth. And when I looked at this guy and was talking to him, I was like, oh, this guy doesn't have a gold tooth. This isn't the same guy. You know what I mean? So, and I started to say this to him. I was like, hey, are you the original? Like, did you,
shit.
Are you the same guy? And dude, right behind us, this like souped up like Honda with like all the rims and all this shit started driving from behind, honking the horn. This motherfucker in the middle of a crowded street drove like into oncoming traffic and spun his car around, the original guy. And then he got out of his car with a pistol and walked over to the driver and put it at his head and then looked at me and said, get out and get in my car. So I did. And then when we got in, he said, why didn't you go with me? And I was like, I didn't realize you weren't the same guy. You know what I mean? So that was for about, because I just didn't. It was fucking dark, but I did know that this was the right guy. He had a gold tooth. He had a big old gun, and he had a nice car. It smelled nice. The point being is that,
That's the perfect way to describe the right guy.
Like,
he had a gun. Yeah. All right.
And then this motherfucker was totally cool after that. But, like, I was just shocked. I was like, for whatever, like say $60, this is happening in the middle of the street, and it did. So yeah, that was and that was like one time where I admit, for a moment, I thought there might be some trouble happening here. Yeah, so
yeah, could be some trouble. Guy's got a gun in his head.
Yep.
You know that's a good sign.
I mean, I'm laughing about it, but at the time, the guy was just totally calm. He puts the gun to the guy's head. He looks at me and goes, "Get out," and I was like, okay. So, yeah.
Holy shit.
Well,
that's it. I don't know, buddy. I mean, there's lots more, but that's the one that sticks out as having at least a bit of a laugh in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I appreciate that. That's real good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And I'm glad you made it out unscathed. Hopefully you got some tight weed. And
oh, yeah. It all worked out. Yeah.
All right. Good.
And even on top of that, I wasn't buying it for myself. I don't smoke weed.
Oh, shit.
God damn.
Course not.
Put myself in the line of potential fire for a good friend though. So, anyways, yeah.
Oh man, that's even better.
Yeah.
But it's kind of amazing that guy was like, I don't know. I guess he's just looking out for his own interest because you were a client and he wanted the money.
Yep.
But like,
yeah, man.
To
I
kind
think
of risk
that was the long and the short of it. Yeah, he wanted the money and he got it. Yeah, so it was cool.
Yeah, but there's no telling what that other guy was gonna do. Like, he didn't offer you weed. Nope. He was just like, "Let's go. I know you got money." And then the other guy's like, "No, you don't, bud." All right.
Yeah, maybe he was actually saving me. I don't know, man. It
could be a little bit. It was,
here I am talking to
there's a good. Yeah. I know who you're talking to, but there's a good chance it was a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. It was really good meeting you guys. I hope we can actually hang out sometime when the world's a little less crazy.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we'll come to Germany.
Yes, please do.
Oh yeah, well that's our on our bucket list of band stuff is play over in Europe. So yeah, that would be cool.
Do it
We'll hang out with you.
People book DIY tours over here all the time. Or if you have an agent, they can hook it up. I think things are probably going to open up a lot quicker here than they are in America. So fucking A. It could be
I think
it could be like a
we'll
renaissance.
bypass America for right now.
Were you going to do what? Oh, I was going to say it could be like a renaissance for punk rock in places like Europe and other ones because, obviously people like to tour in America because that's kind of like where a lot of punk rock fans and whatnot exist. But if you can't go there, people got to tour somewhere. So maybe they just all come here. And that would be really cool because, I
would love to.
I've been on tour in America, way too many times to even count. So I'm kind of like, let's tour other places. And you guys should too.
Yeah, other places. Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. Sounds good to me, bud.
All right.
It was real cool meeting you guys. And I hope let's talk again soon. Hell yeah. All right.
All right, brother.
Okay,
you have a great day, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Actually, you said where everybody can find you as far as socials and everything?
Yeah, like Bad Breed Band on Facebook, yeah,
Facebook and Instagram, Bad Breed Band. And
our website is badbreed.ca, which is for Canada.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, all right. So, just Bad Breed Band, man.
Yeah,
so the album's
Google
out. Check it out. Listen to it. Enjoy it. That's where we're at, brother.
All right. Sounds great, guys. I'll talk to you soon. And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Intruder Green. The Intruder Green calling line is +1 608 535 9608. Patreon.com/Intruder Green if you want to become a patron of the podcast, a producer of the podcast, actually. The Intruder Green podcast is produced by Colin Bennett, hair and makeup by Genevieve Smith, set design by Dylan Raymer, catering Matthew Hendershot, lighting Sweet Flights, Ryeway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Type Bros. Are you a farmer? Here's a couple of acres.
I gotta.
You're real loud now.
Collect myself.
What'd you do?
Oh, good. I put the phone in my mouth.
Don't eat the phone.
We got tricked.
We need that.
We got tricked.